This is Cherry MX. This is a Crown Cherry MX Silver. Crown Cherry MX Red Silent. I don't remember what this one is. I think there's a piece in the middle here in this one that's a little different. I'm gonna have to open it up. But in general, I don't think that these are... I don't think the Switch makes a difference in these sticks, or in these particular buttons, because the Switch itself doesn't bottom out. So, this one in particular is a silver. Also, keep in mind that my buttons are a little different. So the purple tops are going to be different than the orange ones. So this is Cherry MX Red Silent. You can hear the difference there. But the switches never bottom out, so it doesn't really matter. Now, what does matter is the actuation point. And here's silver, another silver. So what happens is when you press down on the switch, for silver in particular, has a higher actuation point, so you don't have to press the button down all the way compared to normal Cherry MX. So I have here multiple switches. Now, because of what we said earlier about the silent switches, I'm not gonna test all of them. There's way too many. I'm gonna say that the grays are pretty interesting because they do have really high actuation, but they're also a lot more tight. So it requires a lot of actuation force. So I'm just looking here. Actually, the gray has the same actuation as a Cherry Red. Regular Cherry Red. So Speed Silver has way less travel. So this is a green switch. It's clicky. This is a blue switch. Also clicky. So blues are typically what you would see in a normal keyboard. Greens are a little less common, but green has more actuation force. That's why blues are probably a lot more common. But as you can hear, they're a lot clickier. So I'm gonna just put... I want to put both a green and a red in a button, and I will be right back, because this is gonna take me a while to get out. Okay, so I have these buttons loaded. This is Cherry Green, Cherry Blue. So as you can hear, there's a clicking sound. So you get tactile feedback when you hit a button. I've never actually tried clicky switches in an arcade button, so I'm kind of excited. I jammed this one in my button. Fantastic. Okay, so honestly, blues and greens pretty similar. So here. That's blue, this is green. And I don't have a linear switch set up anymore. I just set up all my linear switches. Let me set one up though. So I have a ton of Cherry MX Silvers. As I bought for spares. Looking at it now, I probably should have bought some blues. I never thought I would like tactile switches in my switches. I haven't had that since playing on an arcade stick in the Hawaiian Brian's era. I mean, these days, you know, I got so... Actually, I really liked Sanwa, the feel of Sanwa buttons. But Sanwa buttons are kind of dated now. The Switch quality has never been great. And they constantly break. And they're not very easy to come by. You have to basically go to like 3 different arcade purveyors. Whereas a Cherry MX Switch, you can literally get them anywhere. So, this is Cherry Silver in here. You can see there's no click, audible click. Now, I think I would need to see this like in an arcade stick. I don't feel like it makes a huge difference when you're like hitting down these buttons. And honestly, the actuation it's pretty light. Now, if you want to drive your roommate, girlfriend, wife, kids, if you want to drive them nuts, yeah, go for the Tactile, you know. We used to have someone in our office who would bring in Cherry MX switches, blue switches. I honestly, I kind of opened Pandora's box there because I had a mechanical keyboard. Cherry MX Reds, I mean, they're definitely louder than a membrane keyboard, but they're still silent switches. Whereas, yeah, blues, it sounds like, I remember hearing her type, it sounded like she was bombing someone, you know, it was crazy. I'm about to send you like 500 letters, and it sounds like freaking, I'm not gonna say it. So, I think if you're lightly pressing a button, you'll feel the difference. Like, I can clearly feel the difference. I don't know if it matters that much, though. I think I would need to test it in an actual arcade stick. But I would say overall, it's pretty interesting. It's an interesting experiment. These are really easy to swap out parts. And Cherry MX keyboard switches are less than $1 switch, usually. So, it's clearly louder, but I think overall, you know, it's not bad. It's not bad. The other switches I'm not going to test. I don't think that's, I mean, I kind of want to, but it's a lot of work. And quite frankly, I don't think it makes that difference. So, there you go. Eventually maybe I'll just put in all blues in a stick and we'll see what happens, you know. But for now, I'm gonna be not a nuisance to the people around me by having a atomic bomb of a keyboard or an arcade stick. And arcade sticks are already loud as shit. Now, the one thing is that these Cherry MX Red Silence make no difference in an actual button. So what you're hearing is the actual plastic bottoming out. And that makes all the difference. For these, the switch has never really hit the bottom because of how much it has to travel. And in a stick, you know, I forget what you call this, the button plunger top part, it should not bottom this switch, at least in a mechanical. At least in these crowns. I haven't used any other switches, though, or any other buttons. So, there you go. Try it out for yourself, you know, maybe grab some blues, see if you like it.